Welcome back to Leeds Lately for another transfer video. Today's video is a little bit different from the videos that we've done so far over the transfer window. Usually we do a little bit on a specific player and how they've sort of fitted into Leeds' plans in the future and statistically how they stack up. But today's video is kind of a little bit of a video for me to just talk about the transfer window in general and to kind of reassess a little bit what we actually need in this window, and following from some comments that Daniel Farker said about how basically Leeds need to not just get transfers for the sake of it, not warm bodies. I know we've heard that before, but what he means by that this time is that we can't have somebody, and he said this specifically, somebody who's very young, who's not played in the last 6 months. It needs to be someone who has been playing, who will come in and make an instant impact, and who will continue to contribute towards the team's success. Now, that kind of ties neatly into the most recent rumour we've had, which is about Ryan SESSEGNON from Spurs. Now, Ryan SESSEGNON has just come back from a surgery that had him out for 177 days, and apparently he is fit as of January the 4th, 2024. So he is only just fit after 177 days out. So he's not been playing. He's not been playing at all. He's a very good player and has been a very high potential player throughout his somewhat short career. He's only 22. He is 22, isn't he? Yeah. 23 now, actually. But it's not something that I think Leeds would do because of that injury record. I think now with the modern management that we have and the modern sort of board of directors and all that stuff, I just don't think we would do a deal like this. I've just looked at his injury record, right? He spent just under 300 days out of first-team football because of hamstring injuries alone. Just hamstring injuries. He spent nearly 300 days out. To me, it's an absolute no-go. Yes, very good player, very promising youngster, but I just think at this time, when you've already got Junior Firpo and Sam Byram as your left backs, you need somebody who's going to be consistently fit and available. And yes, it would be a very good option, and Spurs want to loan him first with an option to buy, I think, judging by the rumours. But at present, I just can't see it. Leeds would have to pay upwards of £13 million to buy him on a permanent at the end of this sort of potential loan. I just don't see it. So let's get on to the other stuff then about what Leeds actually kind of need. And before this window, and even during this window, I've offered up a couple of number 10s because I still think we could do with a number 10. But for me, the priority now, because Jorginho can play in that number 10 role, and we have other players as well. Yes, we have other players who can come in and drift inside and play in that number 10 role and help us out. But now that Jorginho has taken up that role and Bamford's gone up front, hopefully that means that there's a place for Pirou as a striker as well when he does come back into first team action. But for me, it means that we need to strengthen at the back, and we kind of already knew that. I have already suggested a couple of fullbacks. We had the rumours with Ben Johnson from West Ham. Ben Johnson supposedly is going to be a permanent deal to whoever buys him. Now, Villarreal have shown interest in the West Ham right back, and you've got to think with European football and playing in La Liga, it's going to be more appealing than coming to the Championship for Ben Johnson. So I think there's not too much in that one in terms of Leeds being able to get him unless financially Villarreal come up short. I think he would, yes, be very good for the Championship, and he can play left back and right back. But again, it's another square peg in a round hole. And it kind of gives us that situation again where you still haven't bought a left back. You still haven't bought a left-footed left back. And that's really what we need to get. I talked about Kai Wagner in a recent video. He's just signed a new deal. He was a free agent just before I recorded that video. But as of that day that I recorded it, he signed a permanent deal and he's worth €5 million, so a little bit less in pounds. And it would be a deal that Leeds potentially would be able to get done, but there are interests from all over Europe for somebody like Kai Wagner. So again, I think it's unrealistic that we would manage to get him. It's kind of all our options are closing, all the doors are closing on us, and I think still the option lingers for Connor Roberts, Wales international, played for Burnley for years, very good, decent, solid right back. I think he would be a good shout. I think he would be a good shout to come in, especially because we've lost Luke Ayling to Middlesbrough, and therefore we don't have a right back to play. And Jed Spencer's gone back to Spurs as well. So at the moment, you kind of have Archie Gray and Jamie Shackleton as our only right backs. So you do need to buy a right back, or loan a right back, sorry, to get one in. So for me, Connor Roberts comes in there and he can start, and which allows Archie Gray a little bit more rest time, allows him to play in the midfield when he needs to, and opens up options a little bit for us. So I actually think we need a right back and a left back in this window, and that is really what our priority should be. So for me, honestly, I think I would just go for Connor Roberts. There are some other options. I talked about Daiki Hashioka from the Belgian league, the Japanese fullback, and I think he would be a good shout, and he'd only be a few £1 million, but I think they'll go for a more obvious option, somebody who knows the division, has played there before, so Connor Roberts. And I think we need to go for a left back as well, because obviously every Leeds fan knows, it's been almost a running joke now for years, that we need to sign a left back, and it's always been a thing. Well, over the last few years it has. We haven't really had a fantastic out-and-out left back since maybe the days of Ian Hart and Tony DeRigo before him. So really, we need to look to sign an actual left back. Sam Byram's been fantastic, and in recent weeks, Firpo's been really, really good as well. But you can't rely on them because of their injury records. So for me, circling back to the start, that thing about bringing Ryan SESSEGNON, it's just a no-go for me because of that injury record. You can't rely on somebody. You could have a situation where if you brought Ryan SESSEGNON in on loan, you could have a situation where you have all three left backs out injured. And then where does that leave you? It leaves you right back at square one again. So bring in a left back, and when you're bringing him in, you've got to look at his injury record. If he's injury prone, no go. If he's not injury prone, okay, he gets to the next level of the interviews, if you will. Obviously, you don't get an actual interview, but figuratively speaking. So yeah, the less of a concentration on a number 10 now for me. I know that's the glamour signing, but for me, in terms of pushing towards that promotion, I think a left back and a right back would be the best places to start. It really would be, and so we need to start looking at some more options of left backs. Tomorrow's video will be a left back video. It will be a scout report on a left back. So look out for that on the channel. But like I say, I think things are slightly shifted around, and especially with some of Farke's comments that he's made in his press conferences about Leeds kind of needing to pick somebody who's not injury prone, who's got a decent amount of experience, who can come in straight away having played recently and having a good run of games before coming into the Leeds team. That's really important to what Daniel Farke wants to do, because in the January transfer window, you know how important it is to hit the ground running. So we've got to get somebody who does that. So in tomorrow's video, we'll be taking that into consideration when looking for that magic left back that we've not had in so long. So look out for that on the channel. There'll be plenty more content on the way. But yeah, thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one.